Hey guys, it's xxotomi. So January is about to end and I figured that now would be a good time to share some of the thoughts I've had through this month. These thoughts are obviously my own thoughts, but there's also a little bit of advice that I want to sprinkle into this video in case you guys want to take some of it. And I do this makeup look in the video, so I figured if you guys were interested, then you can continue watching. This is actually my first chit chat get ready with me of the year. So I wanted to talk to you guys about just things that I plan on working on and things that I've noticed that I want to work on in myself because of how January's turned out so far. I know very well that change is not linear and that there's going to be a lot of ups and downs in my journey, especially this year with all the things that I want to achieve for myself. But in the past month, I did notice a couple of the patterns that I've been repeating since late last year. And when I entered 2024, I told myself that I would give myself January to step into this new year energy and not force myself into it on the first like everyone else does, because I know, and I've mentioned it in the Creating Her Diaries episode 1, that taking things slow really just helps you win the race overall. Whenever I rush things, I tend to feel like I'm not giving my all, like I really could be if I was taking time to pay attention to detail as I accomplish each of my goals. Which is why I'm coming to you guys with this video now to kind of just go over all of these things. I did talk about it to myself and like journal everything that I was thinking. I wanted to share all 7 of these and kind of put them out there and make sure that I really stick to it. And I figured maybe if you're clicking on this and watching it, then you can learn from it as well. I'll be fixing my hair up a bit more towards the end of the video, but for now, this is what she looks like. I have my notes here and we're just gonna get into the makeup look. I really love this makeup look. I've been doing it for a minute and it's basically just like my everyday winter makeup, but then I add gems. So thing number 1 is that I need to regain my blind positive attitude towards my goals. I used to be super just like, oh, okay, if it's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen, and like didn't put too much of a timeline towards it. Or I knew like, okay, I'll give myself a far away timeline and I'll stick with that. And that would be a way for me to not put too much pressure on myself when achieving new things. And in that, I need to realize that a good part of me achieving those goals in the first place is due to my hard work, not always due to the timeline. And a bit further into that, I just need to make sure that I pay attention to the fact that if the opportunity was not meant for me, it probably wouldn't have come up in the first place, or I probably wouldn't have felt led to go towards it. And all of those things just feed into me needing to have a blind positive attitude towards my goals, because if I keep that blind positive attitude, then I won't be too worried about, oh well, what if I am going down the wrong path? Like I won't have those negative thoughts, which honestly I don't think negatively most of the time. Most of the time I'm a very positive person, but sometimes when I'm just sitting there and I'm like, how come I haven't found enough time to get this one thing done, or how come growth isn't happening the way I want it to be, sometimes I just realize I need to slow down a little bit and understand that things will happen at their own pace, and as it's happening at its own pace, I can still be happy about it. I'm gonna let this sit, not blending it in yet. Number 2 is kind of personal, but oh wow, ouch. Number 2 is kind of personal, but I feel like other people can definitely relate to it. It's the fact that my goals are my goals because I want them to be. My goals are my goals because I've had them since childhood, not exactly just because other people want them. I think this is an important thing for me to know, especially with how social media has become so bandwagony lately and how everyone's doing the exact same thing as each other and trying to dress like each other and talk about the same things and not really go into depth or like put their own spin or opinions on things based on fear of being ridiculed. And I like had to remind myself for a moment, like, Tommy, you don't want to do YouTube just because you see other people doing it and making money off of it. No, I wanted to do this since 7th grade, and I technically like was making videos 7th grade, but things happened, so I kind of just like left it at that. But recently I did have to remind myself, okay, all the goals that you have, even with like painting and everything, the goals I have with that are not just out of the blue. Like I see some other person who is successful from their paintings or work, and then that's like what's fueling me. Again, briefly for a moment, I did think, oh, like what exactly is actually driving me? But I realized no, just because I find inspiration in other people does not make my goals for myself any less valid. So on my lower emotional days, I just need to make sure that I remind myself that each goal I have is completely valid and I don't need to overthink my way into a little hole of, do you actually want this or do you just think you want this? I feel like that's just big overthinking on my part. I overthink all the time. The next one is a big one, really big one. I miss sitting down and filming like this. Oh my gosh. My life has been so hectic. I've been helping family out a little bit more lately. I don't contour because my forehead just does it naturally, by the way. I might not keep that in. It's a little secret of mine. I've just found like I don't really need to contour. Probably will in the future, my cheeks. I need to work more on adding more genuine emotion back into my life. And when I wrote this, I wanted to make sure that I was talking about emotion that comes from me, not from external things like watching media and crying or scrolling on TikTok and laughing at something I find funny, or even emotion from people complimenting me or, saying, we wish you good luck on this. None of that. I want to get back into just pure emotion that comes from me. And this is open to all emotions completely. But I'm saying emotion that comes from my internal feelings, like my own internal feelings. I mean, for example, whenever I sit down to paint and I'm painting like a deep topic to me, then I will like start crying because I'm a Scorpio who's finally in touch with her emotions. And so I'll cry a lot when I'm painting if I'm really feeling connected to what I'm doing. Or, when I'm listening to music and I feel physical joy, I can't help but like jump or dance around because that's just how I am. And I want to get back into that because I noticed, and again, it could just be a winter thing, in the winter you're a bit more, oh, it's cold, let me lay down, let me sleep. But I've noticed lately that I've been a bit more, I don't want to say neutral, but it feels like neutral into negative. Not exactly pessimistic, but neutral into like, oh, whatever, like who could care less. But it has a bit of a dark grayish blue cloud around it, if that makes sense. Pretty. Another big thing I want to add on to that is making sure that I feel those emotions when I'm alone. Because again, you can feel those emotions from external things, from like friends or family. But I just know that whenever I'm able to feel at home and like happy when I'm alone, then I feel whole, if that makes sense. Because it's like I'm not relying on other external things like people or friends or media to make me feel something. Another thing that I've noticed since the start of the new year, and that I kind of want to reflect on a little bit more and make sure that I don't take too far into a negative state of mind, is the fact that I both feel no pressure to achieve my goals, but at the same time I feel immense pressure to achieve my goals. It's like I know that these are the things that I absolutely want for myself, and like I have again a great list of things I want to complete or accomplish by the end of this year. So I know that these are important things to me and that I need to be working diligently towards all of them, but I'm also acting from a mindset of I don't need to desperately chase them like I did in the middle of last year. So essentially I know I have a set of things that I want to get done in order to elevate my life, but I'm not actively desperately chasing them. Instead, I'm actively chasing them from a place of security. And I'm glad that I took note of it, and I definitely want to move more towards into feeling the no pressure side of things. I also understand now that the pressure that I've been feeling to achieve them is really just coming from how I think that people outside of me are viewing me. And I tend to be the type of person who doesn't really care how other people are viewing me, but I did notice, which kind of goes into like, because I'm trying to start making more short form content, I did notice that I was a bit hesitant to share my voice. In noticing that the pressure I was feeling to share my voice was coming from not wanting to be viewed negatively by people around me, I was able to realize that now that I've thought that way, that's some BS. Girl, speak your mind. I learned that I need to really just stop constricting my voice and let myself speak, because when I do, all of a sudden it feels like there's no weight on my chest, and all of a sudden it feels like I can breathe properly and speak properly. So I want to get back into that for sure, and I'm definitely taking steps towards it this week. Woo! Number 5, I seriously hate routines. I can't stand them. I think it's a very weird thing because I used to be the type of person that, and this is me, I'm referencing me from middle school to high school. I used to be the type of person where my life was like wake up at 7:05, grab all my clothes, go to the bathroom, turn the water on, 7:10, be naked, get in the shower, 7:20, out the shower, brush my teeth. Like I used to write down schedules that planned my life down exactly to the minute each morning before going to school. And now I'm not that type of person, and I think honestly that the school system had a big part to play in that type of, what do you even call that, like personality trait? Because honestly that was how my entire life was. Like everything was color coded down. People would be looking at my planner and like, wow, you actually use that? Like that was how I was back when I was in grade level school. And then what happened, actually, I think it was senior year where things started to go a bit downhill, senior year of high school, where I started to notice that those schedules were not working anymore because my classes were doing A-B flip and all that, and that was just messing with me. I did really well, made it through high school well, but when you get to college and your schedules are basically mimicking kind of like what my A-B schedule was like in high school, that's when I was like, okay, I'm not sure if I can really force myself to live the exact same life every day for 5 days of the week. It's just not working anymore. I say this because people will start out the new year and they're like, okay, we're gonna get a routine, we're gonna wake up at this time, go walking at this time, come back at this time, do this workout at this time, da 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 da. And that can work for me on like maybe 2 days of the week. But I'm not the same person every week. I'm not the same person every day. I'm a different person every day in terms of what do I have energy for? What do I have the willpower to do? What am I interested in doing? Oh, do I want to try something new this day? I'm a new person every single day. So genuinely, like, complete honesty, for me to realize that I had to let go of a huge chunk of my personality and the way I acted, because I'm just now figuring this out, really. Like, I would think even in university I'd be like, well, you know, this routine isn't really working for me right now, but I'll figure it out during summer, or I'll figure it out when next semester comes around. And then my class routine would just not clean up. Maybe COVID also has something to do with it, or the fact I studied abroad has something to do with it, where I really was not in very stable environments, so I was constantly moving. But one thing's for certain with being out of the school system is that I'm able to really see what type of person am I now, and I'm definitely not the type that needs a routine. It's not something that works for me. But the flip side, like I said I would mention, I do well with a little bit of structure in different areas of my life. For example, I will wake up, and it kind of depends on the weather. So I'll say this is what I was doing very well from summer until fall, is I would wake up, drink like a bunch of water, take my vitamins, stretch a little bit, put my shoes on, go on a walk. That was something that I could do for like 2 weeks at a time, even if I was on my period, even if I had low energy levels, because as soon as you wake up, you know, you're feeling a bit more energetic. So I would be able to do that. Obviously, I have goals, and people will say, well, if you don't have a routine, then how are you going to achieve your goals? Because you need structure. Okay, I can get with that. So what I've been doing instead is I will assign an activity to each day of the week. Pilates Monday, weight training Wednesday, dancing Friday. Paying attention to what I want to do and how I want to do it. Even with painting, for me to be able to like say, okay, I'm gonna sit down and paint every day, I know that eventually I will get so tired of it. So instead it's like once a week for 5 hours minimum. And so my thing is that because I found out that routines, like every day, the same routine does not work for me, then I found something else that works, which is allocating one activity or 2 activities or 3 activities to one day that will take the pressure off of me. We're getting close to the end of this video, guys. The lip balm I've been using lately is this one. So far, it's lasted a month. I think it's maybe halfway gone. I kind of want to get a different color next time. I want to add blue eyeshadow as well. Ooh, this is a good one. This next one's a good one. You can see the blue a little bit up in here. I'm putting it around the gold because that's more fun. Number 6, external validation seriously does not matter to me anymore. Wow, Tommy, we've come a long way. I'm joking. I've been like this, but in a different way. I've been like this my whole life, but in a different way. Whenever I go into a new situation, I'm never thinking, what does this person think of me? Or when I get dressed, I'm not thinking, oh, what do I want them to think of me when I put this on? Instead, I'm always thinking, what do I want this to say about me? So like if I go on, for example, like my first day dress, it's something that, one, it's in the color that I at least perceive my aura to be, so it's the same color as that, and on top of that it has cute patterns. It's like from an era of fashion that I really enjoy, really love, and because of that it shows a good first impression of me, and that's what I want for a first date, right? So I know for sure that at the very least, even if I'm dressing up for a certain occasion, I'm not dressing to think, oh, what are they going to think of me? Are they going to accept me? But rather I'm dressing up from a place of, as long as I'm showing up as this version of myself that I want to be for the night, or my total version of myself, then I'm cool with however I'm received. External validation does not matter to me anymore, and I think this really started when I took my family's opinion of me off of the pedestal. A little bit early in the video I mentioned that I've always kind of just been focused on myself and not really worried about what people thought about me until I started to factor in my family's opinions. And so now I'm in a place where it just doesn't matter as a whole, whether it's family or just random strangers. I think it really started when I took my family off of the pedestal, because I really put them as super important when it came to my education and then a little bit into my career. For example, when I first started high school, I'm Nigerian, so I was raised to believe that I need to be doctor, engineer, lawyer. And because of that mindset, I was like, okay, I'm gonna be a surgeon because they make the most money, and like maybe I can do some travel surgery or whatever. But I didn't realize it at the time. But in high school, that really stressed me out to the point where I was like having panic attacks, having nervous breakdowns towards the end of my senior year, because I was just thinking like there's so much happening right now. So much is going wrong in my life right now. And I feel like I'm letting myself down. But that was because I had expectations from my family that they had put on me, which I had internalized and thought, okay, I'm letting myself down by doing this. So I want to state that I am very happy and like very grateful that I have family members who are there and are thinking, wow, I want Tommy to, do the best, and I want Tommy to have the best career, and for her to, be financially stable and not have to worry about food or shelter, But I did have to make sure that when I'm thinking that way, I'm not thinking that way and letting what they want from me control me. I have managed to make sure that I also keep a separation between how I view my success and how others view my success. Because at the end of the day, I'm the one who has to live with me. I'm the one who has to be in this body and hear my voice and feel my emotions all the time. And I know that if I was to go down the career path that I had set for myself in high school, then I would be miserable right now. So when it comes down to it, I just need to remind myself sometimes that it is my life, and the decisions that I am making when it comes down to it, as long as they're not harming anyone, are completely mine and they're no one else's business. It's time for gems. I love gems. I'm gonna do one of each color. Do some colors from my top. It is so cute. Also, because planning on wearing contacts for this video. Should I put them in anyways? Oh my gosh, it's gonna be a whole repeat of the last time. I might wear contacts for this video. We'll see how I feel after the gems. Rainbow gem. Ooh, look at that sparkle. This last one is so big. I've said that about all of them, to be honest, but like this last point is honestly just something that I'm working on a lot more now, but I didn't realize how much I really needed it until maybe like a week ago. Pink and yellow. Please don't drop that blue right there. A clear mind is literally everything to me right now. I can feel my pineal gland like activating right now. It's like, yes, this is what you needed to say. I'll put a little bit of this on before I continue. A clear mind is everything to me right now. For the first time in a while, I noticed this when I was scrolling on TikTok, and a girl, she had posted a video, and it was a video of like her just doing a little ASMR thing. She was just cutting out hearts with a little stencil cutout thing, and the entire background of the video was just silence. Now this silence to me was a big deal because when you're scrolling on TikTok and all the videos are just like noise, and then you get one video that's pure silence. Nothing's going on. You can hear yourself breathe. I could feel my ears. That's how silent and peaceful it was. After that moment, I literally just put my phone down on my chest for a little bit and I just breathed. And I was like, wow, I have not had silence in a couple days. I think that weekend I was doom scrolling really bad. I just realized maybe I need to start taking a couple more moments to myself. One thing though, I know this is not a revolutionary idea or thought by any means, but since like college started, I was not living with my family. 17, and then I turned 18 later that year. I was living with my sister and a couple roommates, and they're like 20 something. So we're all kind of minding our business, not super loud. We all have schoolwork to do. We're focused on our studies very much. So we're not like being loud and hectic at all. So I was in a pretty like normal to quiet environment for 2 years, and then I moved to Korea, and when I lived in Korea I lived alone. Then a nice peaceful my own space environment again. And then I came back to the US and I roomed with my childhood best friend and 2 other girls, and again it was like a pretty quiet environment, and I've been used to not having to worry about noise and things happening all at once, people yelling and people crying, people joking and I have not had to worry about that for basically 4 years. So when I came back to visit my family, and I was like staying with them when I got back from the US after my internship this summer, and now I'm back to the noise that I was dealing with when I was in high school. I did notice that something that I really value is peace and quiet, and is solitude. I really do value those things just because it allows me to be able to breathe and think. And oftentimes my brain is going a mile a minute to the point where I can't breathe and focus on myself, which is why I probably valued that quiet time so much. What I've been doing recently is, letting myself sit in a bit more silence, even if it causes me a bit of anxiety because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's so quiet, like what am I gonna do? But you know, I'll let myself sit in the silence, breathe for a little bit, not overthink, wake up and like not go immediately on my phone. That way I can just have a clearer mind. But then other times, maybe not fill my ears with chat all the time, because I do like to listen to podcasts and listen to video essays on YouTube. I would encourage people to also do the same thing, because of course being too silent can be a bit scary, and like having no noise around you can be a bit intimidating. But to constantly be filled with other people's emotions and thoughts can be a bit overwhelming and can cloud your own judgment and cloud your own thoughts when it comes to forming your own ideas or even having an internal dialogue. It may fill your head with other people's voices, which is not exactly the best thing if you want to be a cool, awesome, happy version of yourself. I need to blush. Tell myself I need something that I need. Oh, and this is cute. I put blush in the center of my face because it just looks better that way on me. Okay, I love this thing. Actually, it gives me an allergic reaction, but I bought it, so I keep using it. I just use it on my bottom lip. It doesn't give me an allergic reaction there. But it has such a cute jellyfish touch at the bottom here. I think I am gonna put the contacts in just for fun. I'm gonna wash my hands and then come back. Also, do you like it? Tie this like that. A little bit of silhouette. Guys, I have jury duty. I'm so excited. I got the lenses. If you watched the contact lens video, I did get contact solution. These are some clean lenses. I have not put contacts in since that video. A little bit of anxiety. So I'm gonna struggle to put these on while watching Criminal Minds to distract myself. At this point, I'm just talking. You're a real one if you keep watching at this point. But I love Criminal Minds.
Is there an accident? I told you, worried. Is this?
Damn it. There's a hair in my eye. Said I want some.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wrote, "When a doctor does go wrong, he is the first of criminals."
So, this sounds so good.
Private medical. It's a chop shop.
Blake and I will
Yes.
It probably.
call Timmons.
My brown nose are so pretty. Why am I trying to change
Likely
them?
caused problems in his as well.
Couple more might have.
What the guy looked like? I remember I was more focused on going into tomorrow.
I just got the last one in, and I need to touch my makeup, and then I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like because it is so cute. Happy, 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 happy.